This week, we've got the latest race results from IXCR Rock Run, and we're getting really close to the end of the season. So strap in as we bring you up to the race pace. And welcome back to Race Pace, sponsored by CW Motorsports. I'm Doug.
And I'm Chad.
And this has the potential to possibly be the last show of the year. Maybe.
No. There'll be Georgia. There'll be others.
Oh, that's right. There's Georgia coming up. IXCR was this past weekend on the 7th, and there is one more on the 21st, but that one is going to be weather dependent. So if that one doesn't happen, then we've got Georgia, and there might be some other wild card stuff, but we're getting down there. That's the point.
We are winding down. Yep. This weekend's IXCR, I guess we'll just jump right into it. Man, the weather was amazing.
I'm on the north end of the state, and usually it is between 5 and 8 degrees cooler here, and it was still 76 degrees and sunny yesterday.
That's
perfect.
about what we had. It might have touched 80, but it was real close to that.
In November.
Yeah. Super nice. The field sections, there wasn't really many of them or really any of them. They kind of rolled just a little bit of dust, but the woods was super tacky, perfect ground. You couldn't ask for better track conditions, really.
Man, you remember our first... I think it was our first year at MWXC when we were racing, and the last race of the season was into November. It was right around this time of year in 2017, and it was 34 degrees and raining sideways.
Yeah. It was not that. I remember that year. That year was thrilling. The first race of the year, which wasn't even side-by-sides, we just went to help. It was 18 degrees overnight, and the water lines froze in the camper you had. And then the next race actually was side by sides, and that was a mud mess. I don't think I've ever raced in worse conditions yet. Still,
yeah.
That whole year.
It was an amazing year in a bunch of different ways.
And that's the one that we got flooded out. The one race, we were standing in a foot of water, and I pulled my trailer up to your camper to use as a porch because you couldn't step out of it without being in 6 or 8 inches of water.
And I ended up parking, I had that big Dodge Ram at the time, and I ended up parking where I could just basically jump out onto the road, and I couldn't move. In 4-wheel drive, it would just spin the wheels at idle because it just couldn't move.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a tire fire.
Yeah. But anyway, back to IXCR. So we had weather nothing like that.
Nothing like that. It was actually nice out.
Yeah, it was, pretty sunny. Like I said, about 76 to 80, somewhere in there. I don't know exactly where it topped out because I kind of got there around midday and the temperature was still climbing. But, man, can't beat it. They had a great turnout, too. They had lots of cars. Doug has the list pulled up in front of him. He'll know how many cars. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I would guess there's...
At least 6. No, there was 35, and, it says Chad Deutsch got a DNF, but I don't think he was there.
He was there. Yes, he was.
Oh, he was. Oh, he just didn't race?
No, he came out. He didn't even get to turn a lap, though, because he had a ball joint let go.
Yeah, his elapsed time is 00:00.001.
Yep, that's nice. No, and actually, now, everybody gives the talents crap and everything else, but he is on the original set of ball joints on that thing, and he's raced two different... Yeah, he's raced 2 series the whole year with that car.
Yeah.
And it finally let go. That's pretty impressive, honestly.
Oh, for sure.
So, yep, I got to talk to him for a little bit, too. So, he was... He made the trip out there. Who else was there? We had Devin was there, although he was not in his X3 again, and we'll kind of get to that some more here in a little bit, I guess. You had the kind of usual guys. David Sauter was there. Who else? Mike Plank was there, but he was there just watching. He just had surgery last week. Is that right? 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
Something like, 2 weeks ago. He's doing good. He was getting around, just fine. Didn't seem like anything was really wrong with him.
Let's go ahead and step through the classes here. Heavy Pro Mod, you got Dwight Pollard up in the number 1 spot once again, which I think coming all the way from Clarksville, Georgia is probably a motivator to run well if you're going to spend all that time driving.
Yeah, and he was checked out after about the first lap. The first lap, he probably had a, 15-second lead on the guy behind him maybe. After that, he was gone. Like, he had a minute or so lead on second place for most of it.
Yeah, Jason Wolford came in second, and elapsed time shows that Dwight Pollard finished 2 solid minutes ahead of him.
Yeah, Dwight was checked out. He was gone.
Yeah. Matt Lithgow was in third, Cole Sequoia in fourth, and Adam Cottrell finished in fifth. All Can-Ams except for Cole, who's running that YXZ.
Yeah.
And then moving further down, you had Brandon Monsell in sixth and Michael Falk in seventh, both in Can-Ams. Mike Zidell, of course, in his Polaris in eighth. Ty Phillips in ninth. Gary Manuel in 10th, both in Can-Ams. John Barnes and John Carter running in the Polarises. David Sauter in 13th. Aaron Montgomery in 14th, both in Can-Ams. And then, of course, Chad had the unfortunate ball joint issue, which took the only Honda out of the mix there in the heavy pro mods.
Yep. Now, you mentioned Aaron Montgomery, and there's a couple pictures that Doug should be able to weave in here. He kind of got off course and kind of buried it really deep. Like way deep.
Kind
of. So it's unfortunate. I don't think there was any real damage. I think he just got stuck.
Just his pride.
Yeah, pride was damaged. Much pride was damaged.
The only thing buried deeper than that machine was his pride.
Yeah.
Single pro mod, Brad Ashby shows up in the number 1 spot. Looks like he finished 44 seconds ahead of Drew Moore in second. Mitch Wooford running in third, and then Devin Smith turns 1 lap and finishes
in a single
fourth.
seat.
In a single
yeah.
seat.
So Devin had problems straight away. Michael Plank's buggy is what he was in his RS1, and it wasn't really ready. So we're working on it on the side of the track before the race starts, like there at Devin's camper, trying to kind of get it back together. It had the boot off one of the axles is off, and it had a loose bearing on the front end. Apparently it had a bad one in the back end, because that's what he ended up stopping for, because he was going around a corner. He said all of a sudden he heard pop, and he felt the back end step out a little bit, and then he looked over, and the rear wheel was leaning probably 6 inches or better over on the top. So that was a problem. He said it kept going into limp mode and all that, so you'd have to pull over and shut it off. And I did a live feed from the start, and you can see as soon as he gets around, he was actually second to the first corner, but last into the woods for his row, because it went into limp mode as soon as he got around that first corner. So he pulled over, shut it off, fired it again, and went. And I guess it did that a few times. So,
not a good day for Devin Smith. But you know what? Honestly, it's been kind of interesting, because he started off the season running his X3 like he normally did. And, of course, he had the unfortunate tree hooking accident there. And then he ran that 570 with you. He's run a bunch of different machines. Short course.
He got to run Steve's.
Yeah,
Steve Mueller's Pro XP.
Yep, he got to...
And he won with it.
He did. It's probably the fastest... Okay, we're not going to... Be nice to Steve. But no, he actually said he liked it. He was pretty surprised by it. I don't think he's a convert. Like, I don't think he's going Pro XP next year. But he seemed like he actually really appreciated it.
I think he's got a little more respect for them.
Yeah.
Is where he's at with it.
Yeah. And Precision Powder Coat Keith's machine. So he ran that out at short course. And that thing basically was kind of a brand new machine effectively at that point. So he's been filling in just a bunch of different places, and unfortunately the single seater didn't treat him too well. But I'm glad to see he's gotten some racing in after the mishap.
Yeah, Michael Plank put it this way. He said he's like a drug addict. All you got to do is just supply it, and he's there to go.
I think my favorite memory of him just stepping in was when you had the kidney stone. and you were supposed to be running the pink buggy. And he steps in for you, and like on the first turn, that thing is like just completely up on the bike. You know?
Yeah.
He's so used to that X3, and this was an old school 1000, and so the suspension's completely different, the center of gravity's totally different, and he tried to drive that first corner like an X3, and it was not having it.
And that machine was always set up a little tall, and it always wanted to get up on two wheels.
It had a heavy cage too. Like there's a lot of weight up high.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. You just had to realize that that's what it's gonna do. I don't know if I have one of those banners or not, but I know I had one made for Steve and Devin of that Razor up on two wheels on the start, and I sent them to them. And I know Steve has his hanging in his garage, and I think Devin has his up too. I think I remember seeing it in the background of one of his videos, but. Yeah, that was good times. That was the absolute last GNCC UTV race.
Yeah, that was a real kick in the teeth for you because I knew you desperately wanted to do it. And I was actually heading down to Louisiana for the Southern Mud Riders thing. So I wanted to be there, but we had to cover Southern Mud Riders, and they put on an amazing event every year for St. Jude's, and I just had to be down there. So
Yeah, this seems to be memory lane, so I might as well tell the whole story of it while we're sitting there. But I had the buggy loaded up, and I was heading to Ironman. I was going to there, and I got, 5 or 6 miles from my house, and like it was like someone stabbed me in the gut with a knife. Like instant cold sweats. I got out of the truck. I pulled over at the side of the road, obviously, and then got out of the truck. Didn't just jump out while I was moving. And kind of like walked around for a second, and I'm like, I don't feel good. I'm going to go back home for a minute. Because I was going to be there several hours early just to kind of, walk the track, get the feel of everything, and then whatever. I got back home, and I didn't even back the truck and trailer into the driveway. I didn't even aim for the driveway. I'd pulled straight into the yard, dropped it in the park, walked in, and dropped to the floor to my knees. It had gotten that bad. Wow. Yeah. Ended up real big kidney stones, all kinds of fun. But Steve came by and he was already on his way to Ironman at the time. I had Brandy call him and said, come get the buggy, call Devin, see if he can race, because I think he's already up there. Just come get the buggy. I already paid registration fee. And have Devin tell them that he's me, because it's already paid. It's already under my AMA license and everything else. It's like, just don't tell him any different. And it worked. So he raced as me.
Yes, I am Chad Shoemaker. Yeah. Okay, IXCR this weekend in heavies. Matt Hecker finishes first in the heavies, followed up by Chris Hedrick, Rick Strange, and Chris Harcourt, and that was a Can-Am, a Honda, a Can-Am, and a Polaris in that order.
Yep.
Rob Zidell and his YXZ finished in 5th. Tyler Hughes in a Can-Am in 6th. Austin Sealing also in a Can-Am in 7th. Chad Cash and that Yamaha finishes in 8th. Jamie Ledford in 9th. In is that the only other Honda? No, there's one down in Heavy Limited. So Honda in 9th, and then Jonah Woomer, finishes in 10th in his Polaris.
Yeah, he was having some troubles. I don't know if he was in limp mode or if he was having other problems. The suspension was sitting there okay, but he was, at lap 2, he was nearly a lap down.
According to this, finished 1 lap, 24 minutes.
Yeah, he was not moving at any speed.
Yeah.
He did not hit the pro hill. He just, took the bypass and climbed it. It wasn't even like trail riding. He had problems, and then he pulled off, issues. I'm sure. So.
Yeah. Rounding out the classes, Heavy Limited, Lane Boyle takes the number 1 spot in his Honda Talon. Steve Conkright finishes in 2nd in a Polaris. Sean Pruitt in a YXZ in 3rd. Mike Huber in 4th in a Polaris. The rest of them are Polarises from here on out. Mike Huber in 4th. Scott Heller in 5th. Clint Gould in 6th. And Logan Flanagan in 7th.
Yeah. Let's see. Other notable things that happened. Devin, before he broke, he tried to wheelie up Pro Hill. There's a picture of that floating around. It's not the best. It was just screen snipped off a video.
Yeah.
Rob Zeidel, he did the same thing almost. He tried to take another line up Pro Hill, and there's this nice kicker at the top, and he went sky wheelie, like straight up. Ooh. And I think he was just able to tap the brakes, and the rear tires caught just enough to bring him over and down. Yeah, that was an interesting one. He sent me a message and asked if I was there and if I saw it and if I got any video. I said, I don't think I got good video of it. For some reason, my live stream that I did over at the Pro Hill did not upload the full HD version. Thanks, Facebook. So
yeah, that's even when you tell it to when you're done, it's like a 50-50 shot whether it actually is going to listen or not.
Yeah, Devin tried to climb a tree with Planck's RS1. I kind of got that on video right at the beginning of that second live stream I was doing, and it's not great, but we laughed because as soon as we got in the woods, here he comes, and he thought he was around the tree on this turn, and he was not at all. The entire front left tire went outside the tree, and he was on the inside. Nick climbed and stood up, and there's green paint from the bumper 6 feet up on the tree, and he thought he was going over. And
has Devin lost his depth perception?
I don't know.
What is going on?
Ryan Kunkel and I, we were running around together, riding around in his XP Turbo, but we'll put it in reverse real quick, and he backed it down the tree, and he thought he was going over, but he backed up. No harm, no foul there, other than some green paint on a tree. But
so looking at the series standings right now, heading into potentially the last race of the season. Right now, Dwight Pollard is in the lead. He's got 2,982 points, but Mitch Wooford is only 2 points behind him with 2,980 in second place. Matt Lithgow is in third, Cole Secoy in fourth, and Mike Zeidel in fifth. We'll round up the top 10 here just in case people are interested. Brad Ashby's in sixth, Gary Manuel in seventh, Chris Hedrick in eighth, Drew Moore in ninth, and Logan Flanagan in 10th. And just to give you an idea, first through seventh have 2,900 points, and then it drops to 2,800 for Chris Hedrick's got 2,862, and then Drew Moore is in ninth place. From there on down, it drops into 2,400, 2,300. So basically, the way the point system works, at the top, in theory, it's kind of anyone's game for the first couple spots, but really trying to make up any real amount of points at this point in the season is almost impossible. So
yeah, basically, if Dwight finishes and does reasonably well, he's probably got it.
Yeah,
that would probably he would have to ball it up, and one of the top couple guys would have to get first place.
Yeah, if he had a really, really bad race, Wooford could catch him.
Yeah.
Matt Lithgow, probably not likely given the point disparity there, but it's a outside possibility. But really the race to watch with only 2 points between them is Dwight Pollard and Mitch Wooford. So
yeah.
Out of town guys, Georgia and Tennessee. Southern showing us up.
Well, they're just coming to play on our nice tracks.
So that's kind of where things stand from there. Just if you're super curious, total number of UTV point positions in the adult races is 96 this year. So there's 96 overall positions. Now, some of these people have only run one race and turned a few laps, and some of them didn't even get any points because they didn't even finish a lap. But just gives you an idea of the breadth of the race season this year, that they've had 96 different cars registered.
Yep. So, yeah, and great turnout yesterday. I hope they have the Lee Farms one, which is the next, potential, as long as the weather holds out one, because that's close to me. I would love to go hang out and see that one.
Yeah.
So.
And if failing that, the one you're going to down in Georgia is right after Thanksgiving, so that'd be, the 30th or something like that?
Yeah,
28th.
Yeah.
Yep. That's a Saturday, 28th.
Yep. Practice rounds are on Friday. I think it's practice and qualifying. Call it what you want. Is on Friday. So basically what I'll have to do is leave on Thanksgiving Day. It's 9 hours or something like that drive from here. So it's not close.
No.
But I'll drive probably a majority of it. I'll try and get out of here. I think mid-afternoon is my goal, kind of depending what my family's all doing for Thanksgiving. Get out of here, probably try and drive about 7 hours of it, sleep somewhere. I don't know. I'll try not to unload the X3 like in the middle of a parking lot just to sleep in the trailer. I'll get some sleep and then drive a couple hours in the next morning because the driver's meeting starts at 10:15 or something like that. So, I mean, there's just not a whole lot of time to dilly-dally around.
Yeah.
Once I'm there, it's not that big of a deal because there's not that much practice time. I don't remember how many laps I get, but it's not that many.
Yeah.
5 or 10 or something like that is all I get. And then it's really hang around and wait. I'm going down there meeting up with Desert Vet Southeast guys. I'm going to hang out. There may or may not be vets to put in my car. We're not sure. He's trying to figure all that out right now. But I'm going down there to kind of hang out with them. Seeing if we can get a couple of the other guys to feel like making the trip down there. Maybe they'll go. And, yeah, we'll just play it by ear. Saturday is the actual heat races, and then the plan is now to hang around through Saturday night because they have a 2-hour, pretty sure it's a 2-hour endurance race. Maybe it's a 4-hour, this one, because it's a special one. But anyway, they have their endurance race, which is more like XC. I am not running that, just because my car's tuned. It does not allow for endurance racing right now.
No, not in its current form.
No. I mean, the reality is I could run pretty much all the E85 out of it. In my programmer, I could flash over to a 93 octane tune. It'll last much, much longer, but I have no idea how much longer is.
Yeah.
I could do that, and then I could run it. But they need pit crew. They need help, stuff with that. And, I'll just hang out and kind of get a feel for everything that's going on. There's no need to just beat myself up for, a solid full day of racing and then try and drive 10 hours or 9 hours home the next day.
Sure. Well, that's what's coming up, and it's probably going to start, that's going to close out the season. It's hard to believe we're already into November, especially given the weather. It doesn't feel like it, but so we're hoping for the Leaf Arms, and of course we'll be here for that if it does happen, and if not, we will get a show together for you based on Chad's results down there in Georgia. That one may be delayed a little bit just on Chad having to drive back and when we can record and everything, but we'll definitely get you a show out for that one. Yeah,
because best case scenario, if I leave early in the morning, it's still 9 hours home. And on a Sunday night, I've been away from my family. I'm sure they'll want to see me some way, but...
Oh, you're going to be pretty beat too, so...
Yeah, it's a lot of driving. It'll just be a long weekend, and then I'm supposed to work the next day. I may see about just taking that day off, too.
I'd take that day off.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we do want to say thank you to all of our sponsors. Of course, CW Motorsports. We've also got Spangs Fab on board, as well as Watch Communications and 834 Powder Coat. You can find us on the web, as well as all of our sponsor information at eminentperformance.com, Facebook and Instagram, Eminent Racing. If you're looking for the podcast, just go to iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, any of those venues, and look for Eminent Performance. Same thing on YouTube. Look for Eminent Performance, and you will find the video version of this mess, along with all of the other videos that we put out. And if you're interested in those, then definitely take a second, subscribe to our channel. Once you subscribe, click the little bell, and that will give you alerts when new videos pop up from us. And it also lets YouTube know you are actually somewhat interested in what we're doing, which is good for us. So, any other housekeeping items, or are we good to go?
Nothing really. I mean, it's getting around to that time where everybody's going to start putting their UTVs to bed for the year, so it's kind of one of those, start. My suggestion for the year: map out your projects, what you want to do, because you don't want to be the guy who, come March, and you got 2 weeks until the new race season starts and you haven't done anything. My suggestion: map it out.
Map out the projects you want to do, and then cut the list in half.
Because that's what you'll get done.
Because that's what you'll actually get done.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. The season is dwindling, but thanks for riding along with us, and we will see you out at the track.
Thanks, guys.